to see the camera, I started smiling. I don't know why. What's up, people? You can probably tell by now that the tone is getting a little more serious as as the videos go along.
Yeah,
that's what happens. Got my two friends here,
Mo Keys,
Brandon,
and I am Prince K, as usual. We we're gonna discuss the phenomenon of finding yourself in the role of being an advice giver amongst your peers. Kind of what constitutes an advice giver, and also, I guess, traits and that you need and what happens. And I'll just start off by saying, usually you're the kind of person where people feel you're easy to talk to. You know, you're usually a down-to-earth person, you know, with a good ear. But I'll let Mo open up the discussion about maybe his experience.
Well, I mean, extending on what Charles just said, from my experience, I've always been that person that, especially the girls. It's always the girls that always have those personal, riveting stories to tell you that you probably don't even give a shit about, but you're there because you're trying to help out a friend. And so, being a good advice is not about giving the advice, it's about being a good listener. Because you can't give advice if you're not hearing what the person's saying and analyzing what the person's telling you. I mean, from my experience, people have told me a whole bunch of stuff, but the funny part is how they're so busy, into telling you their story. They're not there to ask you, how was your day? How do you have anything interesting to tell me? They never ask you these, questions, and so you're sitting there, quiet as usual, just listening to what the person's telling you. They're venting. But then when the moment arises where you're in a bind or you're in a stressful situation and you need someone to talk to or vent to, you end up walking across a desert.
Okay, Brendan?
Yeah. I mean, over the years, I found myself being the one that people feel as though they can talk to, and they can. I mean, I'm not gonna, if you got something to say to me, say it. I'll listen, and I'm not gonna talk shit about you or look at you crazy. I'm gonna listen, and then if you want me to say something, I'm gonna tell you what I can to the best of my abilities. I mean, if I don't really know what to say, I'll tell you, and I'll try to give you something that'll help, some insight or something. But I mean, if I don't really have anything for you because that situation never happened to me, or it's so extreme that I can't fathom it or something, I'm gonna listen to you, but I just may not have anything to tell you. And yeah.
Okay, so what I've gathered from what you guys are saying, I'm wrapping it up for the people, is basically that you need to be a good listener, to be an advice giver.
Yeah.
You seem to be a go-to person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you say that you have more insight than other people, or do you just think that you're able just to put things in a logical center, or what makes you better suited to give people advice?
It's not about who's better suited. It's about, well, I mean, again, we said earlier, in order to be, give good advice, you have to be able to listen well. And if you can't listen, you can't hear what the person's saying. If you can't hear what the person's saying to you, then you can't give advice on anything, So you it's like, in essence, you're trying to get blood from a rock. You can't do one thing without the other thing being there. So I mean, it's not necessarily based upon some people are better suited than others. It's about, sometimes as the advice giver, you draw upon your own experiences.
All right.
And the other person may not know that because you don't really open up and say, one time, once upon a time, or see what happened was back in May,
Mm-hmm.
You don't say that stuff. You just give an example, and people say, that's right, you feel me, man, and you're like, you guys are valuable, but they don't know. They pouring out their soul to you, and you're just internalizing everything, and then when it's time for you to, I don't know. It's more you draw upon your own experiences, but at the same time, you have to be logical about it. You have to be logical about it. You can't, giving rash solutions,
All right.
never gets you anywhere.
Now I'm gonna direct this one at Brendan since you took the first one. This just kind of came to my mind. When you're the advice giver, do you find that like how people always come up to you with this sad news and all this BS? Do you ever find that like when people are going out, say everybody's going out for drinks or everybody's going, do you ever find that you're like you're the first to hear the bullshit, but you're almost like the last option when it comes to having fun? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That.
Like you're the last person to be thought of. You might be invited, but I don't know. I'm just.
No. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, that's true. Like something bad happens. Who's the first person I'm gonna call? Brendan.
Well, the only person that answers for that.
Yeah. That. Then I hear gin and juice, which has to be my ringtone.
Okay.
So I hear gin and juice answer the phone, and somebody has something to say.
All right.
Has something to tell, because they know I'm gonna listen. They know that I'm not gonna be like, oh, this person, they bullshit again. Ignore. That I'm gonna click. That I'm gonna press answer. But when in better times, in more fun times,
When it's happy hour.
yeah, when it's when it's happy hour, silence, no ringing, no nothing. Oh, that's interesting.
Interesting.
And then, oh, Brendan, guess what? What? That was fun. What we did last night. Da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yo, you should have been there, man.
You should have been.
I should have been there. Well, maybe you should have told me.
Should have called me. You know, the thing, it's funny because I tell certain people this all the time. People always talk about you being there, but I can't be to something that I don't know about.
Thank you.
Yeah. And if you really want me there, and if you really care, you would extend that helping hand and ask, okay, what are you doing? We're planning this and that. Is there any way you can make this? If you can't do it at this time, maybe if you don't have a ride, we can do this. The people don't accommodate you. They give you information last minute and expect you to change your plans to make them happy and accommodate them.
Yeah. And I would love to talk about this all day, but I'm gonna kind of bring this. One thing that I'd like to say about being an advice giver that's been interesting to me is I think I brought up the whole happy hour versus drink your face till you puke
To a stupid.
to a stupid. And it's kind of funny, as an advice giver, nobody thinks of you as an advice giver. As a matter of fact, if you are with all your friends and you're like, it's kind of funny. I mean, I probably have more insight than anybody here. People will probably laugh at you, but secretly everybody comes to you because you're the only one. It's usually sometimes the funny guy in the group, because you're the one who's willing to listen to people. Right now I know who I could call if I had a problem. I tend not to because I don't like to pull out my baggage on people and I get screamed at by some of my friends for that.
Considerate of others.
Yeah. But the thing I feel like you always let the last to get called for fun stuff. But I'm also, as an advice giver, it's kind of funny. All this stuff comes into you, but you as a person, you never let out, And so you kind of you kind of take on all this baggage, but you never release any of it.
True.
And I think it's kind of dangerous, actually, to tell you the truth.
It molds you into who you are.
Yeah. So just to end, to be an advice giver, it's not like you have some special insight, although some of us do. I know as a person, I have insight, God-given insight. But just about being a good listener, and you have to be able to exercise wisdom beyond your years, and give people rational advice as to what to do. It's all about listening to this issue. Just listen. A lot of times when somebody's feeling bad, it's not even, people are always worried about saying the perfect thing. A lot of times it's not even about saying the perfect thing, but just being that person that listens, Don't talk. Just let that person get that thing off your chest, Makes them feel alleviated. Sometimes silence is the best answer.
Exactly.
And so, I'm Prince K.
Brendan.
And
Mo Keys.
And we're out.